the first thing we need to do whenever we are going to use PyQt is we need to make sure it's installed. Um, Now, usually if you're using Python, you're going to want to create your own virtual environment that has the version of Python and whatnot that you want to use. But that's a little complicated for this quick demo. So I'm just going to go ahead and install these system-wide. I use them fairly regularly anyway. So I'm going to make a directory. We'll call this demo. Well, actually, I might be using that already. We'll call it Qt. All right. We'll go into Qt. Nothing in there. And what I'm going to do first is Python 3 -m pip install pyqt 5. Now, I've already installed these on my system, but I wanted you to see how you can install them on yours. Be sure you're using Python 3. Python 2 has been deprecated. It's not going to be worked on anymore. It's basically it's going to be an obsolete product soon. Python 3 is the new standard. All right. Once you have that installed, we are going to create a file. I just call it maybe my app.py. And this tutorial, this video, is not going to go over how to program in Python. I'm imagining that that's something you've already done. It's not that hard to learn. I'm just going to show you how to create a graphical user interface in Python. All right, and the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to import some symbols from some other libraries. All right, I'm going to import sys. Sys is going to allow us to pass command line arguments to our program. And then I'm going to import Qt core, Qt widgets from the PyQt module. I'm going to import several other types of widgets from the PyQt widgets module. QIcon from Qt GUI modules, and then QSize from Qt core. There are ways that you can import more of this stuff all at once without having to individually choose the ones you want, but I think this is a little bit cleaner, so we're going to go with this. All right, and then let's have some boilerplate code. If you want to create a main entry point to your program in Python, the first thing you need to do is create a main function. Our main function is going to create a new Q application, and we'll talk about what that is in a minute. And we're going to pass in any arguments that we got from the command line to that Q application so that it can tailor its behavior however we want it to go. Equals my app. It turns out that we're going to create a class in just a moment for our app that we're making, and this is going to create a new instance of that class. Right? And then we're going to tell this how to exit. We're going to say, hey, I just want you to run the app. When the app finishes, then we're finished as well. And then we're going to have the entry point to our program. All right. If you program in Python much, you've seen all this before. It's pretty standard boilerplate stuff. All right, so here's the deal. We are going to be creating a new Qt application, and we are also going to be creating a new instance of our app. So to do that, we need a class definition. So we're going to say my app is a Qt main window. A Qt main window is built into Qt. Right? This is going to be the frame or the entry point that houses everything else that we have in our application. All GUIs have a window, and inside that window they're going to have some custom content. So what we're going to do next is we are going to define what this window looks like. With any class, the first thing that we need to do is initialize itself with a constructor. Remember, a constructor sets up the initial state of an object. And what I am going to do here is immediately call the parent constructor. So I'm saying that my app is a QMain window. It's just a more specialized version. And I want you to go ahead and set up the QMain window first, and then I'll set myself up afterwards with this self.init UI. And now we're going to create a init UI function, and everything we do to set up the initial state of this UI, this window, will go in here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set my geometry. Your geometry is 4 values, and these values are the X and Y position of the top left corner of your app. We'll just say maybe 100 and 100. And then the width, maybe 640, and the height, maybe 480, of your window. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this window a title. Set window title, and I'm going to say my awesome app. Good so far. All right. Now, when you have your window all set up and ready to go, you can do a self.show, and at this point, if I make this executable and I run it, well, we get my awesome app. This is at 100, 100. It's 640 by 480. Perfect. We're just going to click this close button, and we're good to go. All right. So that was kind of interesting, but it was at the same time kind of boring. Our window doesn't really do anything. So let's make it do something. And what I would like to do is add a menu bar to the top. All right. We can do that in PyQt by creating an object, a variable, we'll just call it menu bar, and calling self.menubar. That's going to cause this main window to call a menu bar function, which is going to construct a new menu bar for us and return the reference that we will then store in menu bar. Okay? And if you're on a Mac or an OS X machine or Mac OS machine, we also have to do this menu bar set native menu bar, and we're going to set it to false. And if we don't do that, then our window is not necessarily going to have the menu bar up here. Well, actually, here's what we want. We want it to look like this. As soon as I fix this little bit of code here, menu bar dot set. Okay, I want my menu to go right here. If we don't do that, it's going to try to populate up here at the top. That's not what we want, because I want this to be the same for everybody. All right. So I'm going to say set native menu bar to false, and you'll see what that does in just a moment. Okay. So we've created this menu bar. It looks like it wasn't there, but it really is. The next thing we need to do is make a menu. And we're going to do that by calling menu bar and asking it to add a menu, and we're going to call this menu file. All right, it's a top level menu called file. Now, if we run this, you will see that I do get this file menu now, but there's nothing in it. And that's kind of dull, it's kind of boring. Notice that the menu is not up here at the top because I said don't use the native look and feel for the menu bar. So if you're on Windows or Linux, yours should look exactly the same. Let's see how we can add something to that menu bar. So the first thing I would like to be able to add is maybe a close button. So I'm going to create an exit. We're going to call this an action. And this is a Q action. And I am going to give it an icon. And this icon is going to be exit.png. I've got that somewhere else on my system. I'll copy it in here in a moment. We're going to call this exit, and we're going to add it to self. All right, that's the top level or the parent object. Okay, and I also am going to set a tooltip. Exit action dot set status tip. And we're going to call this. We're just going to have it say exit application if somebody hovers over that particular menu item. Okay. And now what I need to do is I need to connect the signal to a slot. Qt has what we call signals and slots. Signals are generated whenever some event occurs, like choosing a menu item or pressing a button. Slots are basically functions that we're going to call whenever that signal has been sent. So I am going to connect these things up. I'm going to say when triggered, I want you to connect to qapp.quit. What this is going to do is it's going to say, hey, whenever this application exits, this is the thing that gets called. I want this event, this exit action, to trigger that quitting process. All right. And now we are going to add that action, that exit action, to our file menu. Let's see if it works. File, exit, exit, exits cleanly. Here's what I'm going to do next. I am going to copy from, let's see if I can figure out, yep, here we go, there to here, and I'm going to run this again. And now you can see that I've got my little exit icon there beside of my menu entry. Perfect. Very easy to add all that and to get it going. All right. However, I have not added in a status bar yet. So currently, whenever we run this and we hover over the exit, we don't actually see anything happening. So what I want to do is I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to go up to line 17. And in line 17, I'm going to say self.statusbar, and that's going to cause me to now have a status bar. I hit tab instead of spaces. That's going to enable us to have a status bar at the bottom of our app. Let's see what that looks like. Now we have this bar down here. Click on File, nothing happens, but if I hover over Exit, you see my tooltip shows up in the status bar area. Nice. This thing may be user-friendly after all. All right. The next thing that I want to do is let's add our own sort of action. This is great that we can quit, but that's not really a lot of fun. What if I wanted to open up some other window, or I wanted to perform some other process whenever somebody chose a menu item? Well, what I'm going to do for this is I have created a about menu, or an about window class, and I'm going to paste this in. All right. So this bit of code just creates a new class called about. It is also a Q main window. We initialize it. We got the same function names that we had in my app. And I'm going to set its title, its size, and then I'm basically just going to create this center area, and inside of there I'm going to have this quote. That's it. Nothing that spectacular at all. But how do we use this? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a new menu item, or a new action that we can add to our file menu. All right, and I'm going to do that right here. And what I'm going to say is my action is a new Q action. This time I'm not going to give it an icon. I'm just going to give it the text, and it's going to say, oh, just about this app. All right. And I'm going to once again add it to self. Looks good. Let's see. There we go. And then for my action, I'll set a triggered. My action dot triggered dot connect to self dot do something. You who have been looking probably noticed I don't have a do something function yet, but we're going to in just a moment. And now let's add that file menu dot add action, my action. All right, so here's what I've done. I've created a new action. I have said for that new action when it's triggered to call the do something function, which we haven't created yet, and I have added that action to our file menu. It's going to show up underneath the exit action because it was added after the exit action. That's okay. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create that do something method. And in do something, it's actually going to be a very, very simple method. All we want it to do is pop up an about box. All right. So it's going to take a signal as well. All right. So we're going to go up here to init_self. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to say self.about is going to equal a new about instance. All right, so we've got this class at the top called about, and I'm going to say that our my app has an about instance. All right, And then all I need to do under this do something is I'm just going to say self.about.show. Just have it show itself. All right, let's see how this works. My app.py. Looks good so far. We got a file menu. We got exit. We got about this app. And if I click on about this app, it opens up this other window. Be most excellent to one another. Close that out. Do it again. Do it multiple times. It does not create any extras because we didn't program it that way. We only created a single instance. All right. So it turns out that one little window there, it's always there. As soon as we create it here, it's going to be created, but we just have it show itself whenever somebody clicks on that menu link. All right. So with that, what we have done is we have created a simple GUI using PyQt, which allows us to bind our Python libraries, our Python apps, to the Qt libraries. All right. Realize it was kind of a quick video. If you have any questions about it, feel free to email me. Otherwise, enjoy creating your own graphical user interfaces in Python.